Hey friends, so it was August 3, 1992, Barcelona, Spain, the Olympics. Derek Redmond, representing Great Britain, was scheduled to run the 400. In fact, he was a favorite. He lined up in his spot, ready to go. And when the gun went off, he shot out. And he ran as fast as he could until about halfway, he heard a pop, and all of a sudden, his leg was on fire. His hamstrings had gone out. And suddenly he knew his race was over. And he could see his fellow competitors take off. But he was so determined he had to finish. His father, seeing that his son was in pain, managed to get by security, was able to actually make it onto the track. You can actually YouTube this, Derek Redmond. And he said, "Hey, you don't have to continue." And Derek said, "No, I have to finish." And so his father literally helped him to cross the finish line. It was one of the most great moments in Olympic history. And I'm reminded of the fact that Jesus as well doesn't abandon us, even in our times of pain, but also in our times of joy. Jesus is there to rejoice with us and also to help us in times of struggle. You know, we're all running a race right now, and the race can have its highs, can have its lows, but the biggest thing is Jesus is with us. And even in the painful moments, Jesus is there to help us to cross the finish line. So I want to encourage you to never forget that. And as well, our God is a gracious God who is there, who wants to be there for us. Now, just a couple quick things as well. By the time you watch this, you're probably going to be a couple of chapters into Mark. You know, we're reading through the New Testament. And so I just wanted to give you a couple of things to kind of, as Mark as an overview. You know, Mark is the shortest gospel written. It's only 16 chapters, and it was written roughly around AD 60s, time of Nero. And, Mark is different in that there's no birth narrative. In fact, it's just, he starts with a quote from John, talks about John the Baptist and Jesus' baptism. And within Mark, there's this sense of immediacy and again. Jesus is determined to fulfill the mission that he has set forth. And so, Mark begins with the prologue. And then there are 4 parts, really. The first part is that of where it's the announcement of the kingdom. The second part is that of, in chapters 3 through 8, Jesus develops 3 different groups. Number 1, the miracles. The disciples, they receive their training, they go and share, but yet they're slow to respond in understanding it. And then there's a third part in chapters 8 through 10 where Jesus directs his attention to the disciples and shares even more. And finally, in part 4, chapters 10 through 15 talks about the story where it reaches its top. It's the zenith or climax or the mountaintop, where Jesus, he enters Jerusalem with excitement, but the opposition ultimately has the last say. And then finally, in the epilogue in chapter 16, however, points out that Jesus has risen. So I want to encourage you, as you read Mark, try to find out, maybe take note, what are some of the overall big themes that you're going to find. I hope this kind of helps provide a little bit of context. In fact, even some say that Mark was probably the first gospel written, and Matthew and Luke in some way kind of base their gospels after Mark. And thinking about the fact that in Mark there's a lot of conflict. Certainly a conflicting time, especially for those who lived in Rome, where they say that this gospel was probably sent first, and Nero was in charge. So, courage to you all. Take care. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Sabbath Online. God bless.